Hello, dear viewers. Guess where I'm at? So I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to give you clues. Behind me there's the Table Mountain, and the other side of me there's the Indian/Atlantic Ocean or something like that. And so basically I'm at the very southern tip of Africa, which is Cape Town, my friends. I'm reporting live from Cape Town. This is the most amazing place I've been in a long time. The beach is incredible. The mountains are just unbelievable, majestic, and the mix of culture here is simply like nowhere else. Basically, you see people with origins from anywhere in Europe, France, Germany, Dutch, you name it, British, and mixed with Africans. So this is it's like a really interesting place. Anybody that is planning to go for a vacation somewhere very far away, I suggest you come to Cape Town. So this is, and I'm chilling on this rock, just here, in this park near the Camps Bay beach. But the video is not about Cape Town, and I'm not here on vacation. I'm here on business, because tomorrow we're going to talk business with some potential investors, and so this is just a day off for the super hustling entrepreneurs to get ready for some to do some business. And so the video I wanted to do today is about money. Again, money, about borrowing money specifically, not raising capital, but borrowing money. And as I'm going to talk through this short message, I'm actually going to get on and walk down closer to the beach so you get a better view. And so basically the message about borrowing money. So I'm gonna talk very briefly about that. So in my experience, we've borrowed or have received commitments in debt in the amount of up to 50 million euros. So I have some experience in terms of what it means to borrow money. And so the one kind of point, the one message I wanted to raise and tell is that borrowing money is nothing wrong if you're in business, and even if you're not in business. But borrowing money is a very good way to leverage and maximize your returns and capitalize your business. And so even though obviously there's different business models, some of them allow for borrowing money in large amounts and paying interest, and some business models require different forms of financing. But generally, I just want to say that borrowing is completely, it's a reasonable thing as long as you do it somewhat smartly, right? So that's kind of one thing, the message of borrowing money, which is totally fine. And I'm walking here bare feet on these rocks. So sorry for this kind of weird talk. But anyway, so the other point of borrowing money is that I wanted to raise is that people probably and often think like, what's the sensible amount of money that you can borrow? How do you think about borrowing money? If you borrow 10,000, is that a lot? If you borrow 10 million, is that a lot, or that's not a lot, and so on. And so obviously one way of how to think about smart way of borrowing money is if you look at how much equity you have in the business and compare that to how much debt you have in the business, right? So that's called the debt to equity ratio, which is very simply how much of your own capital you have versus how much of borrowed capital you have. But the funny thing is that oftentimes, especially in a startup phase, not in a scale-up phase once you've already receive different types of financing, but in the startup phase when it's all about surviving, and I did a post on being a cockroach in the first few years of your business. In the startup phase, it's all about surviving. Then when you borrow money, all the smart ratios and smart calculations and being very sensible and thinking through all these things that you do for your business, that kind of goes all into trash, because there's only one instinct and only one thing that is that needs to be your top priority when you're doing business in the startup phase, which is surviving. And when you borrow money when you're in a startup phase and you're just doing it to survive, then you can't really expect to think about the right things and having the right debt to equity ratio and all those sorts of things. You can only expect to just get any money you can and just get enough capital to stay in the business, right? So in the first few years of business, all the science of borrowing and using credit, it's all kind of not that useful. So that's kind of one thing. And then I can share a few stories of how we borrowed money, just to give a sense and to give a perspective. So when we started the business, we literally borrowed like 20,000 euros or something, like 30,000 euros from a friend, and that was our first capital. So effectively, right from the beginning, we took money with a commitment to return it back, and we continued to finance our company, Green Finance, through debt for definitely most of the 2-3 years, until we got more equity investments and so on. And so what it means is that we were pretty much ready to do whatever it takes to keep the company alive and to survive. And that included giving personal guarantees, that included taking money at like 50% a year, that included me going to a bank and kind of taking out a loan of £10,000 back in the UK, just to take that loan and put it into the business, and actually getting my wife to do the same thing. And that included my business partner Davis to kind of sell his flat and put the money into the business, and so on and so forth. So I'm just turning around here and turning around. So I hope you can now enjoy this 360 view, because this pretty much covers everything. It's the beach here, it's the mountains, the Table Mountain, and the Camp Bay housing. And so going back to the borrowing, so we did like a lot of crazy shit, just to keep the company alive and just to to survive and prosper. And so there's no expectation of science in the beginning. It's just an expectation of surviving and doing whatever it takes. And using credit is totally fine as long as you use some brain to do it. And eventually you need to get some of your own capital, some equity capital in the business in order to support the debt capital that you raised. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. Tomorrow I will do some sitting in the office with some business partners, and I might report a little more from Cape Town, because this place is incredible. It's incredible. But that's pretty much it. That's the life of an entrepreneur. Anyway, thanks for watching, and check out my other videos, and check out my Keep It Real series that I post on LinkedIn about what it really takes to build a company from scratch. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this insane view. Peace out.
Ladies and gentlemen,